Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. I'm going to give you a very thorough overview of the article here. I'm also going to play a couple of videos which I'll try to move on to pretty quickly. This is an absolute tragedy. 174 people have died. That's right, 174 people. It's expected that number will increase further. 174 people have died at a football match. So there was a football match. This happened on Saturday in Indonesia. This happened at the home stadium of Arema Football Club, Arema FC, Arema FC, within East Java's Malang City. They had a game, a football match, against a team called Persebaya Surabaya Football Club, Persebaya Surabaya. And the home team, Arema Football Club, lost the game. They lost 3-2. Yes, 3 goals to 2 goals. That means it was a close game. Now, despite it being a close game, the home team, the spectators of the home team, rioted. They were very, very angry that their team had lost. Why would they be so angry? Football teams lose all the time, you know. There's typically a losing team in a football match. Not always. You can have a draw. So why were these guys so angry? Well, they were so angry because, for whatever bizarre reason that I don't understand, this club, Arema Football Club, haven't lost a home game at their stadium, which is called the Kanjuruhan Stadium. They haven't lost a home game for 23 years. Which is bizarre to me. I followed football when I was younger, not for a while. But that's absolutely crazy. Not losing a home game for 23 years. That makes no sense. Strikes me as corruption, to be honest with you. But regardless of that, seemingly that's what provoked the riot. There were 42,000 people in the stadium, 42,000 spectators. And they were all supporters of Arema Football Club. For whatever reason, the other team, Persebaya Surabaya, their supporters were banned from attending. The article does say why, but I can't remember why. So 42,000 spectators, all of which are the supporters of the home team. The home team lose. So thousands, and we'll watch the videos in just a quick minute, thousands of people, thousands of the supporters invade the pitch. In my mind, things seem relatively calm at first, but perhaps not for long, because some, of course not all, but some of the pitch invaders attack players. The players of the team that they support. They attack the players. We'll see that on camera. We'll also see some of the pitch invaders attack some of the officials, you know, the referees, the linesmen, or, you know, you have officials at this match, at matches on this scale. Riot police jump in very, very quickly, and there seems to be a lot of riot police. I mean, I'm going to say hundreds of riot police. They jump in straight away. They protect the players. We'll see that on video. And I'll say attack. They attack some of the supporters. You know, they've got their riot shields, and that's what they're there to do. That's what they're trained to do. It's not pretty. It's not pleasant. But, you know, these people, on thousands of these supporters, invaded the pitch. They're not supposed to be doing that. And then they were attacking people. You know, the riot police weren't there for the fun of it. They were there because, I presume, football violence, stadium violence, is a thing in Indonesia to some extent. And perhaps is a thing with this particular football club, Arema FC. So, thousands of people, thousands of spectators invade the pitch. The riot police set off tear gas. People run away from the tear gas. Stampedes, plural. Stampedes start. and hundreds of people are injured. Some people, 34 people, died instantly after being trampled on. Currently, the death toll stands at 174. The article tells us that that is expected to rise, perhaps quite significantly. The reason why it's expected to rise significantly is because 180 people are currently in hospital, injured quite severely. And apparently, many of the injured are deteriorating in condition. The article tells us that people were running away from the tear gas, but they were falling unconscious. Now, that rings an alarm bell for me. I could be completely wrong, of course, but my speculation, my fear, my concern is perhaps there's something wrong with the tear gas. Perhaps the tear gas was too strong. I don't know. And that's probably a theory which doesn't hold much water, because this tear gas went off, as we can see in this picture, at various parts of a football pitch. A football pitch is pretty large. Even when there's hundreds, thousands of people invading it, there's still plenty of places to go where there's no tear gas. But having said that, seemingly some of these people did collapse. Here's one fan being carried away, an injured man being carried away. But more than 300 people were rushed to hospital. Many died on the way to hospital. Here are some of the hundreds of riot police, I think hundreds of riot police, security officers attempting to apprehend somebody. I think it would be fair to say they seem to be quite heavy-handed in their approach. But perhaps that's to be expected. 5 police vehicles were overturned and set on fire. Riots occurred outside of the stadium. I've given you quite a thorough overview so far. So I'm now going to play a couple of the videos. And I'm going to give you a quick trigger warning. There's a lot of noise. 42,000 supporters, all supporting the home team, Arema Football Club. To me, if I turn the sound off, some parts of the video, some parts of the pitch invasion seem to be relatively calm. And other parts, not so much. I think these situations escalate very, very rapidly. You know, I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert, but I'm thinking of the terms like mob mentality. So yeah, but the noise, it adds to that. The noise is, I mean, it's gladiatorial, isn't it? The noise. 42,000 fans, most, all of which are expressing their discontent. Again, because the home team lost a match. Forgive my facetiousness, but boo-hoo. Get over it. It's a fucking football match. Play this video. absolutely harrowing. I mean, it reminds me of Hillsborough, Liverpool back in the 80s. I believe around 100 people died. I can't quite remember. But look, I mean, I'm a bit of an idiot. I've initially said things seem to be relatively calm at first, but that's not the case. It may be in certain sections, certain people, certain pitch invaders aren't being violent, but plenty are. We just saw them attack one of the players. We've seen them attack some officials. There's a lot of riot police. There's a lot of security officers. I'm going to say hundreds. Perhaps it isn't hundreds, but I would think it is. And I'm going to say they need to be there. And I personally am not taking any offense at the security officers, the riot police's relatively heavy-handed approach. I think it's absolutely required. Again, I'm coming from a point of ignorance. I don't know anything about crowd control, I don't know anything about how to handle this kind of situation, but they're trying to protect that football player there who's being attacked by a mob of thousands. We see perhaps somebody, I don't know if that's somebody slumped on the ground there in the middle. In the middle there, I don't know if that's a person. It looks like it is. And if that is the case, how disgusting that these riots, the pitch invasion continues, even when you can visibly see somebody unconscious on the ground. And that might have been one of the 34 people that died instantly. So many people died after having been trampled. So the riot police fired tear gas, as we can see. People would run from one part of the pitch to the other. Some people would fall over. Some people were falling unconscious and they were being trampled to death. 174 people have died. This article says that there's 180 that are still hospitalized, and many or most of those are deteriorating. That confuses me as to why they're deteriorating. Why are they not in a stable condition? They seem to be, these people are, I guess logically they've suffered severe physical damage due to being trampled in a stampede. I guess that's the logical thing, but part of my brain is saying, well, what if it's something else? What if it's the effects of the tear gas? The tear gas was too strong. That's sheer speculation on my part, of course. I've got no idea how valid a comment that might be. But the article does tell us most of those who died were trampled to death after police fired tear gas, or they suffered from inhalation and shortage of oxygen. So, I mean, perhaps that shortage of oxygen is due to the trampling, or perhaps it's due to the effects of the tear gas. I don't know. 174 have died so far, which includes 2 police officers. It also includes children. As I say, there were riots outside of the stadium too, which I'll comment. I'm not, that's just like making a bad situation worse. I can understand people are angry, disgusted, and emotional, when they learn that people have died, fellow supporters of the team have died, when perhaps their family, their friends have died. But rioting outside of the pitch after the fact, outside of the stadium, I mean, I'm shaking my head like that's just making a bad situation worse. I'm going to say something which some of you might find offensive. In my opinion, my knee-jerk reaction as a mere layman is this is the supporters' fault. 42,000 supporters, all for the home team. They've invaded. Why? Because the team have lost a game of football. That's not a good enough reason to riot. That's not a good enough reason to invade the pitch, to attack the players, to attack officials. The supporters have disgraced themselves. The supporters have disgraced the sport of football. Representatives from many major football clubs and leagues have tweeted and made social media posts expressing their condolences. There's investigations going on, police investigations, FIFA investigation, Indonesian Football Authority investigations. I guess asking themselves, how the heck did this happen? What could have been done better? We see moments within this video of police heavy-handedness. We see that. We just saw some police officer smack someone over the face with a baton. I mean, that's not pleasant. That's not ugly. But to me, I'm not taking offense by the police's actions, unless there's something severely wrong with the tear gas. But from their actions, they were, I don't know, they were doing what they ought to be doing, as far as I can tell. I blame the supporters. I know that's a really horrible thing to hear, blaming the people that have died. But seemingly all those that died, including the children, would be those that invaded the pitch. So here's the thing, don't invade the pitch. And I could be wrong on that. It could be that some of the people, the stampedes were caused, well, we can see outside of the pitch, on the outskirts, on the lower parts of the stadium, there seems to be some rushing and some level of stampedes. But this is caused by the spectators, and I'm disgusted by it. I stopped watching football quite some time ago, really because I found a lot of the supporters were way too obsessed. They made it too much of their identity, their love for their particular football club that they loved, they pretended to love. It just was too weak and too weird and too pathetic, and also too dangerous. These kind of incidences do happen, and we get a lot of football fights as well, purposeful fights. These guys want to have beer and get drunk and then smash each other up. It's just too much ridiculousness surrounding the beautiful game of football. It is the best sport out there, absolutely, in my opinion. What's the second best sport? I mean, basketball, rugby perhaps? But football is far and away the most beautiful sport that I've ever witnessed. I like boxing nowadays. Football is an amazing sport, but it is sullied so badly by incidences like this, which have occurred for decades. Hillsborough, Liverpool, in the early 80s, I believe. I can't remember the death toll there, but around 180 perhaps more. But seemingly this incident in Indonesia at the Arema Football Club versus Persebaya has resulted so far in 174 deaths. That could increase. It's likely to increase. And it's such a disgusting shame. So, of course, full condolences to all concerned, the families of the deceased, especially those that are innocent. Condolences to Indonesia. Frankly, this is going to be something which is going to rock the nation in a negative fashion. It's a terrible, terrible tragedy. My knee-jerk reaction is this is the supporters' fault, and I would, if I was FIFA, if I was the Indonesian Football Association, I would take extremely drastic action against the supporters of this club. I don't know what that would be, but I would be thinking the withdrawal of the football club from the league. Something along those lines. That might be a little bit unfair. That would be punishing the club. Maybe banning all spectators from watching an Arema football match for several years. Like 0 spectators. Not even allowed to be televised. Something like that. I don't know. And perhaps Arema can be given a financial lifeline from the league as a club. I don't know what the answer is, but certainly there needs to be action. There will be action. There are multiple investigations underway. So I'm going to wrap things up at this point, guys. Hopefully this video has been worthwhile. If it has been, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video as you see fit, and take care.